why your knee pain won't go away, and why PT is not working for you right now. All right, stick to the end for a bonus. I'll give you 3 exercises that you absolutely have not tried yet and will fix your knees. In this video, I go over why your knees still hurt. So 1, the problems of conventional rehab, why context is important and why your program must be specific to basketball. And then I will give you a system that can make you feel much better right away. There's no waiting around for 12 weeks to see if it works or not. This is a 10-minute masterclass on pain and injury. If you lock into this information, you will have a better understanding of knee pain in general. That is because we have studied it, but we have also been able to try and test it in the field. Now, who am I to say all this bullshit? In 2012, chronic knee pain, 2 points a game, absolutely miserable. Went through all of the doctor's office, all the rehab, all the injections and pain pills. In 2025, I now play at a 1 out of 10, zero knee pain, dunking shit, living the dream. I have also helped 200 plus basketball players go through this same process where they felt down and out and neglected by Western medicine. And we have rebuilt their bodies, and now they can experience pain-free performance at their leisure for the rest of their life. Quick story time before we get into it. In 2012, I was down bad. I remember sitting in the doctor's office, waiting for all of them to look at my MRIs and decide my athletic fate. Now, all these doctors met me about 5 minutes ago, and they would eventually end up telling me the worst news that I've ever heard in my life. So now I'm gathered around a bunch of people that I've never met before, and then I hear that the damage from the wear and tear on my cartilage has been way too much for my knees to handle. They said, I'm afraid that you'll never be able to play again. So then they give me 2 options. Hang up your shoes, call it a career, cut your losses, and try to avoid stairs for the rest of your life. This is when I was 20 years old. I was a sophomore in college. The second option, play through the 8 out of 10 pain that you've been experienced on a daily basis. Continue with the pain pills, the knee sleeves, and the knee braces. No consultation, no postural assessment, no movement tests, and that was it. I never saw those doctors again. Here is what most people believe. I had access to the best facilities that you could get in college basketball. I had top line trainers, strength and conditioning coaches, and then access to the best doctors in the world. So with all those resources, a non-contact chronic injury sounds impossible, right? Well, from 2012 to 2014, I spent 2 years doing exactly what they told me to do. It started with icing and basic leg raises with the ankle weights. Then it became ibuprofen. Then it was injections on a weekly basis. Then naproxen before every practice and every game. Then surgery. And when those things didn't work and they didn't help me feel better, they suggested Toradol injections and Oxycontin. So now I'm like limping around like I'm Frankenstein, and I'm a shadow of my former self. I lost all sight of what it felt like and what it looked like and what it meant like to me to be an athlete at all. From that moment, I knew that I was going to have to find another way. I was too desperate and honestly too stubborn to just take those answers at face value. That was the start of my pain-free performance journey. This is my Batman origin story. So let's talk about how pain and injury first start. Any type of pain is just a signal from your body. Any type of injury just means that there is more load than what your local tissue can handle at that point. So if there's an imbalance in your local tissue being able to handle force, you're going to start to feel pain or you're going to tear some soft tissue. That means that your knees will break down if they're absorbing more stress than they are built to handle. So there's 2 schools of thought here. One is bulletproof the knees, which you see a lot of, and then the other one is a global systemic solution, whereas the knee, there's too much force going into the knees. How about we rebuild the entire system so that there's less stress and less force on that local tissue in the knee? If we can rebuild this entire system, the knees will be able to recover. So conventional PT teaches you to zoom in. All they do is look at your knee under a microscope in the MRI and look at exactly what happened to this soft tissue. But what about the root cause of all those problems? Because when you look at the knee under a microscope, all you're going to see is the effects. We are not looking at the root cause. So what did they tell you? Ice the knee, strengthen the quad, load the tendon. That's local rehab, and it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but I think the industry as a whole has neglected the global rehab portion of this. That's why we have pain-free performance right now, because it is the perfect complement from all the local rehab that you have probably tried and it hasn't been giving you the best results. Because in reality, that excess force shouldn't be even reaching your knees in the first place. If you have a strong and functional kinetic chain, your body will be able to handle whatever you throw at it on the basketball court. Because in a basketball game, force is supposed to be shared by this entire system. When that chain or when that system is weak or disconnected from each other, your knees end up doing everything alone, especially for the quad dominant folks. So, Global Rehab, our pain-free performance system, asks the better question: what isn't doing its job? What part of this system can we address to get you the fastest and most efficient results? Do you have weak feet? Do you have inactive or dysfunctional glutes? Do you have poor trunk stability and control? These are the things that don't show up in knee rehab plans because you can't see them in an MRI. But if you fix these things, your knees finally get to take a break, they regenerate, then they can be part of a working system again. So here's where we start. We don't just chase knee pain on a daily basis, we rebalance the entire system. So here are 3 things that you can do right now to start rebuilding your system, a system that allows the knees to regenerate. One, SMR, that stands for self-myofascial release. This is basically like foam rolling on steroids. So what you're going to do here is 3 to 5 minutes on each myofascial trigger point. I will link a description below to a playlist that'll help walk you through the sequence that I suggest. And then from there, you're just going to use your own intuition to what spots feel the best when you release them. Right here, I'm using a hard medicine ball. You can use a lacrosse ball. If you're a beginner, you can even use a tennis ball. But what you have to imagine is your fascia, the soft tissue that surrounds all muscles and organs in your body, is supposed to look like this picture on the left here. It's a nice, even fishing net, almost acting as a spider web, an interconnected web that connects everything in the body. Now, this myofascial system holds tension, and sometimes when it is dysfunctional or it is put under too much stress, it starts to fold over each other. And that's where you get these myofascial adhesions right here. Those are the exact spots that we're trying to target with a medicine ball, with a lacrosse ball. When you release these things, you start to feel this entire system loosen up. Because again, our body is made of lines of tension. If there's a tight spot up here, it might be affecting downriver and upriver. Each part of our body does not only affect that certain part, it affects everything. It affects the whole entire system. Nothing ever works in isolation. The second thing we do is aim to release the hip flexors. Because tight hip flexors pull your pelvis into an anterior tilt, which causes more stress on the lower back, tight hip flexors also turn off your glutes, which will weaken your foundation and cause way more stress on the knees. It also disrupts the gait cycle and all athletic movement patterns. You got to think about your glutes as the strongest, most powerful muscle that you have. If the tight muscles on the front of your body are turning off your glutes, you're going to be screwed. So obviously the third thing that we do is try to activate the glutes in the most functional way possible. Here in this hinge, I'm using the foam roller to activate my adductors on the inside of my body. I explained this in the video instruction. Sorry for looking crazy here, but the adductors help stabilize the pelvis. They control the internal rotation. Basically, they ensure that the glutes are in the right angle to fire correctly. In this drill, you will feel better glute activation than any other exercise. That is a promise. So when you restore these neglected areas, your body starts finally moving like a unit again. And that's when pain goes away without you having to chase it on a daily basis and do 45 to 90 minutes of mobility every day. In closing, I play at a 1 out of 10 pain right now. 13 years after I got that career death sentence from doctors, I was at an 8 out of 10 pain for 2 years straight, almost 700 straight days. I was living at an 8 out of 10 pain, absolutely miserable. Now I can play. Last week I was in Indonesia playing 36 minutes a game, and the only thing that was holding me back was the damn heat and dehydration. That is why I'm so confident in this system. I promise your knees are not as bad as mine were. And you haven't been exposed to the information that helps you yet because of all the bullshit that you have to sift through on Instagram. So I'm telling you, I'm trying to give you this system to help you feel better right away. I link my IG in the description. It's at dcliff24. Follow if you want more content on how to fix your knees. Try those 3 things. Leave a comment below which helped you the most. That lacrosse ball is going to be a game changer. I promise you. If you don't do anything else right now, go get a lacrosse ball. It costs $2 and go through the playlist that I link in the description below. Again, my name is Dennis Clifford. I'm a rehab and performance coach. All I want to do is show you guys the things that work for me in my career. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm one of the only people that can match the research with actual experience in the field. I have plenty of resources out there for you guys for free. And if you're interested in a proven system and one-on-one coaching, you can always reach out to me in the comments or at my email. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.